So I watched yet another plain rom-com, I guess one can say. I mean, most rom-coms are the same thing, really, pretty much, maybe differing a bit, In that way, they're very similar to so-called action movies, As a instead it's just, you know, I would rather watch just plain comedies, but I don't know. Today I was going to watch what's it called, Liar or something with anyway the subtitles just didn't work at all as it happens for the first time ever. I don't know. They were one of those this kind of situation where you're online on a site with subtitles, and the site, of course, no site ever does allow you to you know delay or make subtitles come earlier or such. It's very annoying, because the subtitles existed, they were just really delayed or something. Yeah. So I ended up watching the first thing that I could watch, pretty much. I'm not going to, be choosing something that could possibly be of quality when the first thing I chose didn't even have proper subtitles. Uh, One of those things. Anyway, so yeah, I watched Bride Wars, and it might have had some, just very the slithers of, just like the basic comedy, just going after each other and shit. But no, ultimately it was very insubstantial, and mostly then I do agree with the so-called critics who panned it. Uh, but as usual, it's one of those movies which attracted mostly an audience. It made a lot in box office, but panned by critics. There are quite a few movies like that, I guess. Somehow I'm finding more and more in the comedy genre as well, not just other types, But yeah. Uh, Honestly, though, just it wasn't really that funny. I mean, and all the retaliations they did, all the changing hair color, changing, you know, they were very superficial, based on superficiality, just the fact that, I mean, I don't know how many people just before the wedding day dye their hair. Do they really? I don't know. I mean, maybe I just do not know much about such culture, but seems absurd, and to rely on that. I mean, if she didn't do that, then of course there would be no plot points to rely on. So maybe it's just due to plot. But they could have done something more. Like even Home Alone had better pranks. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. No, I'm not saying that I feel like I wasted my time watching it, because it just at least you know cinematographically, maybe it was, I don't know, but you know I mean, even at the end, at least it didn't rely on just cliched where everything ends happily and such. I mean, it kind of does, but not totally at any rate. And the obvious relationship that didn't seem like it was going well didn't go well at China. So it wasn't, it could have been worse, but it still wasn't too incredibly interesting in this sense. Um, but it didn't feel like I wasted too much time. I mean, I've seen other movies where the characters just partied for the entire movie. Now, while there was a scene, it was very quick, so doesn't quite, compare to some other movies. So in that sense, at least, it didn't feel like, the script as well wasn't. I mean, it seems like some people criticize the script, but didn't think it was too bad in that sense. I mean, it did have some funny lines, but it's not laugh out loud funny in this sense, So that's the point why it's not, and otherwise it still had a very conventional storyline. Um, But yeah, I'd rather just watch a plain comedy, really, like Tag or something. Even my big fat Greek wedding, had something more to offer, in that case, culture and humor based on etymology, which is always, I mean, I've never encountered it anywhere else, so pretty unique, and that, in my opinion, is better than this stereotypical stuff. Ultimately, though, I mean, it's not like, I suppose advisable to compare genres per se, but no matter how stereotypical and mundane rom-coms may be, and repetitive as well, they're still not as bad as action movies in this sense. I mean, action movies are very repetitive. That's the point. But they mostly have no comedy at all. Not even slithers of comedy like this one had. Slither. Not a lot, but slithers. Uh, so in that sense, rom-coms about they're both the very stereotypical sort of movies. So yeah, I'd rather watch just comedies. But today just so happens that subtitles, I don't know, just one of those things. I wish websites made it possible to delay or make them quicker, but they don't. One needs to download the video to be able to do that. As far as we know, only locally it will be possible. But yeah, so I ended up with a rom-com. Why not? As I thought, I don't feel like I wasted my time, but I don't come away from it, feeling either enlightened at all, nor do I feel like I've just had a ball or laughed really quite a lot or anything. No, I didn't. But it's mundane at best. And as usual, I really should cut down on. There's so many wedding films. It's ridiculous. I don't even care about weddings, honestly. I don't know why I watch them. But I suppose I'm just saying. When subtitles do not work, I guess Bright Roses is what I go with. Yeah, whatever. I guess one of those things. Yeah.